The truth nobody wanted to whisper out loud finally screamed in 2025. This wasn't a bad year for Meghan Markle. It was a full-blown public unraveling caught frame by frame, lie by lie, call out by call out, and once it started, there was no stopping the avalanche. This story isn't about one mistake. It's about a pattern, a rhythm, a cycle of carefully staged authenticity that kept collapsing the second the internet zoomed in. It all kicked off on New Year's Day when Meghan tried to usher in 2025 with what was supposed to look raw, real, and poetic. Bare feet on the sand, ocean breeze. The number 2025 etched like a hopeful promise. Except people noticed something strange. To the left of the perfect shot, earlier takes. Multiple attempts. Smudged numbers still haunting the sand like ghosts of failed sincerity. Authenticity doesn't need rehearsals, and the comments knew it. When the call-outs flooded in, the comment section vanished. Click. Silence. Damage control before January even finished tying its shoes. And that set the tone, because every time Meghan tried to manufacture a moment, the internet brought receipts. When the trailer dropped, the one she clearly believed would mark her triumphant creative rebirth, the reaction was brutal. YouTube dislikes piling up faster than praise. Borrowed house, borrowed wardrobe, borrowed aesthetic. Journalists didn't even pretend to be gentle. Words like wildly out of touch and ruthless control freakery weren't whispers, they were headlines. The glow-up fantasy cracked and Hollywood smelled blood. And when disaster strikes, that's when Meghan's cameras magically appear. Floods, fires, tragedy. Somehow, Meghan was always nearby, framed just right, ready to help. Actress Justine Bateman said what everyone else was thinking when she called Meghan and Harry ambulance chasers and disaster tourists. Even Fox News joined in, dubbing her Mother Meghan of Montecito, pointing out that without tragedy, Meghan seemed to vanish entirely. No crisis, no Meghan. Then came the Spotify aftermath, and oh, this one burned. Behind the scenes of Archetypes, staff reportedly had a nickname for Meghan, not a cute one. Eva, a warning label. A reference to the manipulative, emotionally exhausting character from the 1950s drama Queen Bee. According to insiders, Eva meant Meghan was either arriving furious or already deep in a mood spiral. The kicker? She allegedly had no idea, which somehow made it worse and funnier. By mid-year, Vanity Fair pulled the pin on the grenade. The Netflix deal? Not $100 million. Not even close. Harry's finances? Reportedly so strained he toyed with starting a podcast about sociopaths. Meghan? Labeled so difficult that working with her allegedly required therapy twice a week. And Harry's lingering belief about Diana's death? Vanity Fair didn't sugarcoat that either. The fairy tale was dissolving in public. And the deals? Oh, the deals. A supposed $20 million Penguin Random House book deal evaporated quietly into nothing. No announcement, no explanation, just gone. Another promise that never crossed the starting line. Netflix executives weren't thrilled either. John Mulaney openly mocked the Sussexes for being handed huge budgets with absolutely no plan. Meghan's idea of a show? Set up a camera and declare herself a chef while chaos unfolded. Even Harry's own circle wasn't spared. Comedian Jack Whitehall, once a friend, admitted that after Meghan entered Harry's life, the friendships disappeared, slowly phased out, replaced. Everything became about her. Harry followed along and his old life burned behind him. Then there was the infamous Instagram PR stunt. Meghan proudly posting about securing a Billie Eilish shirt for a teenage fire victim. The Telegraph tore it apart. A shirt doesn't rebuild a home. It doesn't clothe a child for life. It looked performative, shallow, and painfully out of touch. Charity turned into content. Again, when Meghan tried to launch As Ever, reality struck back immediately. The brand name already existed, established in 2013. Another As Ever clothing line existed in New York. The logo? Alarmingly similar to the coat of arms of Mallorca. A mayor even admitted they thought the news was fake. At this point, the accusations weren't subtle. Meghan didn't create, she copied. Even Ranker had enough. Harry and Meghan topped the list of celebrity couples everyone was sick of hearing about. Number 1, unmovable, like an unwanted crown. They tried to imply closeness with Elton John until Elton made it clear the friendship was one-sided. Wedding invite? Yes. Oscar party? Absolutely not. The snub stung, especially for Meghan. And when With Love Meghan finally dropped, Variety didn't hold back. An ego trip not worth taking. Cringe. Secondhand embarrassment. Viewers admitted they watched through their fingers. The podcast Confessions of a Female Founder fared even worse. The Telegraph called it a stream of mindless affirmations. The Times slapped it with a 1-star review, bluntly stating Meghan's status came from marrying a prince, not talent. Brands mocked their H&M nickname. 2 grown adults branding themselves like a clothing rack. Celebrity chef Jameson Stock slammed with Love Meghan as unwatchable. When a mysterious legal letter surfaced, Netflix denied sending it, suggesting it was fake. The criticism stayed. Meghan didn't win that one. After the BBC interview, approval ratings collapsed. Brits turned away. Sympathy evaporated. And then came this moment, the clip that made jaws drop. This is one of the ways where we're different. When I was 11, I was playing a prostitute. Your voices are not small. It just needs to be heard. This is where we're weird. This is one of the ways where we're different. When I was 11, I was playing a prostitute. So, okay, bro. Okay. I wish I had known where we're going here. When I was 11. A little different. I would have been writing very different letters, but equally important, I hope. Brooke Shields later admitted she had to interrupt Meghan, describing her as overly precious, overly serious, and exhausting. And that was only the first half of the year. And somehow it kept getting worse, because once the food era began, the illusion completely collapsed. Meghan launched her jam with the confidence of someone expecting applause, but actual jam experts tasted it and didn't mince words. They said it looked like what happens when jam goes wrong. Not rustic, not homemade, just failed. A Duchess selling jam that professionals wouldn't touch. Credibility splattered all over the kitchen counter. Then the internet did what it always does best, dig. Metadata analysts discovered that the as-ever tea wasn't sourced from some mystical, ethical hillside. It was repackaged. Republic of Tea. Same product, different label. Even worse, product pages literally still said brand, Republic of Tea. Flour sprinkles too. It wasn't a lifestyle brand. It was a relabeling exercise. Authenticity, missing again. And while products came and went, staff turnover became the only consistent thing. Milk lasted longer than Meghan's employees. One expose after another revealed people quitting before the public even learned their names. The reason repeated like a chorus: her behavior, her attitude, her control. Archwell became a revolving door. With Love, Meghan officially flopped. Not soft underperformed, flopped. It didn't even crack Netflix's top 300. IMDb slammed it with a 3.2. Rotten Tomatoes froze it at 36%. Netflix executives reportedly cringed. The contract tied to the show quietly expired and shockingly wasn't renewed. No farewell, no celebration, just done. Then Martha Stewart entered the chat. She didn't yell, she didn't rant, she smiled and sliced. Martha publicly questioned whether Meghan even knew what she was talking about, emphasizing authenticity with surgical precision. It was polite, it was deadly, and everyone understood exactly what she meant. Soon after, Meghan's Netflix deal was downgraded. No splashy numbers, no victory lap, just whispers of desperation. A far cry from the loudly bragged first deal. Silence speaks louder than press releases. Even former supporters turned. Catherine Ryan, once a vocal fan, publicly called Meghan out for lying and celebrity climbing. She joked that when Meghan says good morning, you should check the clock because it might already be evening. Effortless lying, she said. Eyes open. Spell broken. During a Bloomberg interview, Meghan spoke without saying anything. Anchored in your own knowing. Empty phrases, no substance. She claimed the royal family silenced her while literally being given a global platform. When real questions came, dodged, silence again. Her obsession with royal branding intensified. On her failed cooking show, she told Mindy Kaling she now goes by Sussex. Quit royal life, but not the title. During a photo shoot with only 3 people present, she insisted on being announced as Duchess of Sussex. No audience required, just validation. Paris Fashion Week didn't go smoothly either. Her walk was mocked, exaggerated, slow motion, Zoolander-level dramatic. She claimed closeness with the designer, exposed as untrue. Then, footage surfaced of her giggling when a model tripped. Not a good look. Then came the post that made people gasp. Meghan uploaded a reel showing her feet raised while riding through the Paris tunnel where Princess Diana died. The backlash was instant, insensitive, disrespectful, using tragedy for engagement. Critics said she'd do anything for attention, even that. At a Dodgers game, Meghan wore full team gear, reigniting backlash from years earlier when she wore a Blue Jays hat in Toronto. But this time, she went further, updating her IMDb to list herself as a spectator. No other celebrity did that, ever. The need to be noticed never sleeps. Then the Humanitarian award landed, and people asked the obvious question: how does someone accused of inhumane behavior toward family receive a humanitarian honor? The disconnect was loud. Thanksgiving brought another mess. Meghan mishandled a turkey on camera, uncovered, improperly stored, bare hands everywhere. Critics crowned her Salmonella Sussex. A duchess hosting a cooking show who didn't understand basic basic food safety. Illusions shattered again. Then came the moment that even critics found chilling. Her father, Thomas Markle, underwent an emergency leg amputation. No visit, no Zoom call, no financial help. After days of backlash, Meghan reportedly contacted the U.S. Embassy to deliver a letter. A letter. Not love, not support. A letter. The internet didn't forgive that one. Financial Forum soon revealed Archewell expenses nearing $5 million with less than $1 million given out. Shortly after, a press release announced a shift to a sponsorship model involving their children. Business first, always. Newsweek piled on, branding Meghan a lifestyle influencer with some of the worst reviews online. Forced charm, zero authenticity, project after project missing the mark, criticism chasing her faster than success ever had. Publicists fled. Meredith Maines became the 11th publicist in 5 years and quit. Even Archewell's executive director followed her out. Page Six labeled the brand in peril. Nobody wanted to stay. And then came the final verdict. They managed to upset everyone. They left the royal family, bridges burned, tried Hollywood, patience gone. Royal access vanished. Industry goodwill exhausted. Sympathy dried up. They belonged nowhere. Not royalty, not Hollywood, just outsiders watching doors close. Even their heavily hyped parent network quietly died. No updates, no explanation. Loud promises, silent failure. And that's how 2025 ended. Not with redemption, not with reinvention, but with 40 moments where the mask slipped, the receipts surfaced, and the narrative Meghan tried so desperately to control collapsed in real time. Because the biggest scandal of all, it wasn't the call-outs. It was that people finally stopped believing. Finally stopped believing. Finally stopped believing. Finally.